Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to a new video with me, Fuzzball40. I normally do this thing where I say, as always, if you're new around here, please do subscribe, etc, etc, etc. But this is a different kind of video on my channel. It's for those of you who normally watch my stuff, whether it's a YouTube video on FIFA or my streams and stuff like that, to update you on things. But it's nothing related to FIFA or anything like that at all. It's an update from me in terms of my health, but also to sort of talk about what's going on in the world right now. So the first thing to know, over here in the UK, I know some of you aren't from the UK, we're back in lockdown for a month because the COVID cases in the country are spiking quite significantly. So firstly, I do believe the lockdown is necessary and it's needed, but I do also understand the other side of that, especially on things like mental health. And so if you need to talk at any point, I've said this a million one times before, DM me on Twitter, join the Discord server, it's brilliant. There's over nearly 1,300 people in there now. It's a great place where you can meet new people and not feel like you're so alone. It's one of the most important things that Dan and I wanted to do when we set up the website and did what we did on FIFA, was to create a community of decent people, good people that could come together and I guess become friends online, and it's a much less lonely place to be. But you're not alone in all of this. We're all in it together, but it's completely fine to not be okay. And if you need to talk, or if you need just let off steam, my DMs are open. The Discord's got mods in there. They're all willing to listen to anyone. We've got voice chats in there so you can talk to people properly. Together we'll get through this. And yeah, for me it's a necessary evil. But I've got a vested interest in this specifically because some of you know I was very ill over the summer. Now that had nothing to do with COVID-19 or coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. I have other health conditions that meant I was very, very ill over the summer. I lost a lot of weight. And I've talked to you guys about those before, so I won't go into too much detail about those. However, at the beginning of October, it's towards the end of September, I started to feel very, very breathless and unwell. And at the beginning of October, it all came to a head. Now, basically, I'm going to be blunt, break the taboo here. I caught COVID, but I had caught COVID a long time before that. They believe that when I did catch COVID, it was the end of August. One of my friends came back from a holiday. He had it. I'd been around him. I'd shielded for a lot of the time. I'd not been out much. It was like the third time I'd gone out, played a football match, and out of the 28 people there, it seems like I was the only one that caught it. But I got very, very ill at that time. And so I'd been feeling pain in my chest for a few days and I wasn't really sure what was going on. I rang my GP and my GP said to rub some ibuprofen gel in it. I can't take ibuprofen because I have bowel problems, so I'm not allowed to take that. But he said rub some ibuprofen gel in it, it's probably muscular. I knew something wasn't right, so I waited a little bit longer. The next day, I was in a lot of pain and I said, no, I'm going up to A&E. So that evening, things came to a head. I went to A&E and the doctor came and saw me and said to me, was running blood tests, all that sort of stuff. We want to work out what's wrong with you, but evidently something's wrong. I was really breathless, pale, wasn't in a good way. So I had a chest x-ray, I had a CT scan, and then I had the blood test done. And the blood test came back with a thing called a D-dimer, which is the blood thickness in my body, so how thick your blood is. And it showed that was extremely high. I then got the x-ray results back and it showed there was problems with my lungs, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then the quite hard news to take was that I had a CTP scan, it's called, which showed that I had blood clots in my body because the blood's so thick at the moment that it's caused blood clots to form, specifically in my lungs, which is obviously incredibly dangerous. It's called a pulmonary embolism. And then a specialist came down to talk to me and basically to explain to me how COVID has affected some people. Now, I had no symptoms of COVID when I'm supposed to have had it. I had zero symptoms whatsoever. The only thing that I did eventually get, which is still happening now, is a loss to my sense of smell. That didn't come until way longer after I was supposed to have caught it, and I still haven't got my sense of smell back now. With nearly, I don't know, 2 and a bit months since I'm supposed to have had it. But a specialist came down and explained to me about this whole thing called long COVID. Said that they're seeing more and more in people, especially those with health conditions, but a lot of time in asymptomatic people, the damage it can do long term to your body. So I'm going to run you through some of the damage it's done so you get an idea of it. My lungs are significantly scarred. There's a lot of scarring in my lungs. Sometimes getting up and down the stairs can be difficult because I'm so out of breath. Even talking, I can get tired with it. Part of my lung is in a bad way. They can't really work out what's going on with it. They have no idea. This blood thickening that I've got, they're pretty sure it's either permanent or long term. It's not a short term thing. And the clot's still there. It's still there now. We'll talk about that in a minute in more detail. And so my message to you guys, and you have to understand this thing isn't a joke. I understand a lot of people, and it's true, most people that get this thing will just get a bit ill and recover and be fine. but more and more we're seeing people that have had it now getting long-term effects, and it's not about yourself sometimes, it's about other people that can catch it. It's completely bad luck that I call it off someone that I know, and these things happen. I don't blame them one bit, not even remotely. There's no blame for me to them on anything that's happened there. If that's why I caught it, because you never know, I could have caught it somewhere else. We don't really know. I have been relatively sensible. I haven't been going to pubs and restaurants really. Like I've been being relatively sensible in all of it. But yeah. So what's happened basically this month is I went in for the first time. I had the blood clots. I stayed in for a little bit in hospital. I then came home and everything was still bad, so I had to go back in again. Came home, things are bad, so I've gone back in again. And that's continued on and on and on. The thing now is I'm going to be under rehabilitation. There's a lot of work that's got to be done, but I want to show you the effect that COVID has had on my body. So I'm going to go away now and show you all the bits and bobs that I now have to take and do to get you to understand how life-changing this thing can be, so you, I guess, get an idea of it. This isn't meant to scaremonger people or upset people or anything like that. It's just to show you that we need to take it seriously. I understand the other sides of that, and I will talk about the other sides of that, but it is important that I guess we have a visual representation of how bad this thing can be to some people. So we'll sort that out. I'll see you in a second. Just before we get into the nitty gritty of everything, I do just want to say a few thank yous. Those of you that don't know, they might know now. Normally what I do is FIFA YouTuber, streamer, full time. We run a website that helps people trade, and we have a Discord server that's awesome, full of an amazing community. While I've been off and about and not been able to do as much as I would do normally because I've been unwell or in hospital and stuff like that, I want to say thank you to a few people. Firstly, Dan, obviously we own the website together, me and him, a great friend of mine, and extremely thankful that he's helped to pick up the slack while I've been unwell. As I'm getting, I guess, better than I was, I'm able to help out a bit more, but you've been incredible, bro. All my mods, so that's Fibble, Floodsy, Max, James, Scoozes, Luke, Josh Schmallet, even you, Chief. I know you're not with us anymore, but yeah. And then to my family, so obviously Yellen, Sean, my sisters, and mainly obviously as well, Harrison, my husband. I just want to say thank you to all of you guys and put it down in, I guess, in a video form, because that's how I usually tend to do things. I just want to say thank you for everything you guys have done, and hopefully we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and I get back to being the old me to a degree. But yeah, thank you from the bottom of my heart, you guys. I couldn't be doing what I'm doing right now without you guys, so yeah, thanks very much. Alright guys, so this part here is not intended to scaremonger or, I guess, make you feel worried or anything like that, because like I said, the vast majority of people are okay and fine, and it will not affect them in any way, shape or form like this. But I want to show you the actual side of what can happen with COVID, so you get an idea. And yeah, like I say, it's not meant to be that, oh my god, everyone's in trouble. It's not at all like that. But firstly, I'll show you this. These are medical notes from the first 3 admissions that I've had so far because of the effects of this. They are extensive. There's a lot of information on there. A lot of words that I don't really understand. I'm not going to lie to you, but yeah, it's that sort of stuff there. That again, that's 3 hospital admissions, and it's 10 pages of, or maybe more than that, 10 pages of blood tests, notes, scans, and stuff like that. And the thing about this does, and this is the most important thing to understand as well, is that the more that people like me get it, and the more that we get affected by it, and the more people that end up in hospital, number one, the more it costs the NHS, because it's blunt, it does. The more it takes away from other care that people need, including my own care. I've got my other conditions that have been affected by it. And so that's why for me, I've been trying to be, and it's just unlucky, trying to make sure that I stayed safe, socially distanced, all that sort of stuff. I still did that, I just don't know what happened. But yeah, so that's just something to think about. Those of you that have asthma that will know what this is. This is a peak flow meter. It's there. What this does, essentially, you blow into the tube and it tells you what your peak flow of breathing is. For a normal person, it should be, of my age and my height, it should be about 500 to 600, maybe slightly higher. Mine at the moment is about 250 to 300, which is extremely low. And that's the effect that it's had on my lungs with the scarring and the weakened capacity. It's massively taken away from my ability to do that, basically. And so they're monitoring that. They use that to monitor it. Now, I don't technically have asthma, although now they've said I do. But basically, where COVID attacks your lungs, it causes scarring, it damages them. Other parts of your lungs have to then work harder to get the oxygen in, and it can cause problems. So basically what they did was they gave me this initially, which was an inhaler to open up. Anyone that has asthma will know salbutamol, I think it's called, a Salamol. It basically opens it up. So when I'm struggling to breathe, I'll take a couple of puffs of this, and hopefully it alleviates it. I'm going to be honest with you, it does make a bit of a difference, but not massive difference. They also then gave me this, which is one that I take twice a day, 2 puffs in the morning, 2 puffs in the evening. That's to try and keep the airways open and so I don't have to use the blue inhaler. Again, it didn't really work because the damage is so significant. And then finally, they put me onto this more stronger acting serotype one. Basically, this has the blue one as part of it and the brown one, but a stronger dose of it, I believe. And that's, again, to try and stop me from getting to the point where I'm breathless. Does it work? Debatable. I'm not going to lie to you, it's debatable. They're doing what they can. Again, this is such a new disease, a virus, that they have no idea how it impacts it and what it does. I then want to show you this, basically. Now, some of this stuff I take for my normal medical conditions, so that's there. That is my morning dose of medication now. And so some of that stuff I take anyway. So there's some Asacol in there. There is a iron tablet in there. But one thing that's in there is a thing called prednisolone. Now, I have taken that before for my bowel problems that I've got. But it is basically a steroid. And what it does for my bowels, it reduces inflammation across your body. And at the moment, it's 2 birds, 1 stone. It's doing it in my stomach and my lungs. But it's because my lungs are so scarred and inflamed to them that they're saying to me, I've got to take this quite high dose of steroids now. You generally tend to want to avoid steroids because the steroids aren't good long term. So I was on a course of them. It didn't improve, so I stayed on them. And there's a chance that I'll remain on them for now. But that's one set of dose that I take in the morning. I tend to take medication in the afternoon and in the evening. And there's loads of different medications doing different things there. The thing that they're starting to notice now in my blood test is that my liver function isn't quite what it was. Now, they're not sure if that's because of the COVID or because of something that's going on in my body. But one thing that definitely isn't helping it is the strain the medication is putting onto it. But it's trying to balance up the two things at the moment in terms of making me feel better versus the liver itself. So this is what I'm trying to explain to you guys, that it's very new to them. It's very different. It's very unique. And they are learning from people like me. Essentially, we are the guinea pigs. People who had this condition, have had this virus, are the ones they're looking at and going, hang on, what are your symptoms, what's happening, and how do we treat this? And as they're doing that with us, they're realising that it works with other people. They only realised that I had the blood clots in my lungs, or that there was a chance I had blood clots with the pain I was having, because they started to realise that there was an issue with blood clots in COVID patients. So the A&E doctor, which I will always be thankful for, spotted that there might have been a problem and found it out. If you hadn't done that, things could have been a lot worse. So I'm always grateful and thankful for that. And again, the NHS have been unreal in all of this. The final thing I want to show you is this. So this is a thing called dalteparin. It is a blood thinner. Because of the problem with my liver, I can't take tablets, so I have to inject myself once a day with a blood thinning injection. I'm assuming YouTube won't have a problem with me showing that. It'd be bizarre if they did. But I have to inject myself once a day. Now, they don't know if that is a long-term thing. They're pretty sure it is a long-term thing. It could be permanent, and I've got to do that. But me showing you this now is the, I guess, visualization of, for those people that do get it and get the long-term impacts of it, the amount of damage it can do and the amount of, I guess, rehabilitation and medication that you have to take to try and get yourself through days at the moment. Some days I struggle to get out of bed, I struggle to get upstairs. I'm still trying to get the content out for FIFA for you guys, and I'm still trying to stream, but there are days where it's much more difficult than that. And but then there's also the secondary side of things, and the secondary side of things is important when we also talk about lockdown itself. But because of this, I'm no longer able to play football, so it's still the plan to do it. But we were going to bring out a Sunday League diary, because we set up a Sunday League team with me and my mates in my area. And we set up a Sunday League team for me to play football again. I was a very good footballer when I was younger, but I can no longer play football anymore because of this. I can't drink alcohol. Doesn't really bother me too much. I've stopped drinking a while back anyway, but I can't ever do that again. So if I want to have a drink, it's something that they told me no more drinking alcohol, basically. And it's the mental aspect of it as well, because this is so new. They have no idea what they're doing. Do not get me wrong, the NHS have been incredible. They've been absolutely incredible in terms of looking after me and stuff like that. But there is also still this complete lack of communication between departments and teams that are dealing with different parts of my health. And so it's been frustrating, and it's the worry because you're sitting there. When I went back into hospital last week, basically they did some scans and were like, oh, it looks like the blood clot's clearing. Is this just like the effects of it? I then got home, things didn't get better. So we requested the A&E notes from the doctors, and there was a massive addendum added to it that said, actually, no, it hasn't gone anywhere. It's there. We can still see it, and it's basically not changed. And so there's a lot of messy stuff that comes with this. Is that criticism of the NHS? Not at all. They are under immense strain at the moment, immense strain. And so you've got to get on with it, basically. They're doing the best they can, and I'll always be thankful that we have the NHS in the UK, because it means that we get treatment for free and don't have to worry about paying our medical bills. But the other side of this, I understand the whole lockdown argument. We talk about lockdown and say it's needed, and I think it is. For the life of me, I'm going to be. I don't like talking about politics too often, but I can't understand why schools are still open. I know people are going to level the education argument at me, and yes, fine, I agree with that. But plenty of other countries are doing online learning and having no problem with it whatsoever. They're doing it fine, and so I don't see why a country like the UK or England, whatever it is, can't do the same. I also find it bizarre that if we're locking down and we're telling gyms and swimming pools and tennis and golf and football has to stop, why 2,000 people can congregate in a building. And again, if I said to you, you've got 10 people in a swimming pool or 2,000 people in a room, which one's the bigger COVID risk? I think it's obvious. The scientists themselves have said that schools are super spreaders. So yeah, you can lock down all you want, but if you put all these kids in a school and bring them home with them, and they take it home and give it to people, to me it's nonsensical. I've got to be honest with you, it's nonsensical. And the bugbear that I have with all of this is that, for example, 11-a-side football in schools can continue, but it can't continue outside of schools. It's nonsensical. Tennis, which is probably one of those socially distanced sports because you've got a gigantic net between the two of you, can't continue. Schools still can. Golf, all these sports. And the reason why I say that is you guys know I've been a massive advocate for good mental health. Talking about concerns that you have and problems and that sort of stuff. It's okay not to be okay. And for me, exercise is one of those things when my mental health was bad that helped, and it's known to help. It reduces, I think, is it called serotonin or endorphins? Endorphins, it brings both of them. Serotonin to help you sleep, and endorphins to make you happier, I guess. And so we know it's good for mental health. So the fact they've taken that away and just said to everyone lockdown, it's nonsensical. What the government has done so far, in my opinion, there's some good aspects to it. Rishi Sunak and the money and stuff like that, and the financial support's been great. But the decisions made by this government have been negligent, in my opinion, and they continue to be so now. And I just think there's ways you can alleviate this lockdown by making sure people can still get out and do the exercise they want in a controlled manner. But yeah, I have a problem with it, I guess. It's the best way of putting it, because I know that for some people, getting out to a gym and getting out to do their sport or all that sort of stuff, it does make a massive impact for them. It's massively important in their lives. It's so important you understand this video is not intended to scaremonger you guys, but I do see it in my streams a lot and on Twitter and stuff like that about people saying, like, it doesn't affect me, or I'll be fine, or I'm not going to risk it and stuff like that. And I'm not going to lie to you, it annoys me because it's not the usual healthy people that have to worry about it. Even though I've got health conditions, I'm still relatively healthy. It just happened to healthy. It just happened to do quite a bit of damage. It's the people that are older and the people that in our communities that we probably should have a bit more respect for and protect as much as we can. They're the people that get most affected by this. And yeah, you might go out and you might catch it with your friend and it's fine, but you might not know you have it for a couple of days. You might then go and see your nan or someone else, or go in the supermarket and touch something someone else touches. And they're the people that see the effects of this. And so for me, I understand wholeheartedly how difficult this is for everyone. It's been the most bizarre year. It's been a hard year. We all know that. But I genuinely believe we need one more push now just to try and get it down. I do think there's only so much we can do as citizens if the government are being relatively negligent in what they're doing. I saw this morning that travel corridors are being closed. Why travel corridors still exist at the moment in the UK here in Ireland? You could relatively close off entry and access and whatnot to get them numbers down to where levels they should be. There's only so much we can do, but if we do our part, then at least we can say we've done our part and move forward from there, I guess. That's going to be the end of this video. It's not a poor me because it's life. You've got to get on with it. It's not a scaremongering video, but I just want to show you the actual effect it has. But I also want to tell you guys that I'm here for you. If you need to talk, join the Discord. The link will be down below. Join the Discord, get involved, and yeah, just make sure that whatever you do, you stay safe, you stay healthy, you use this time maybe to be productive, try and do something you wanted to do before. I know one of my friends is writing a book. Just have fun, I guess. For those of you that are locked down, not working, if you're not working, then dubs either way. But know that we're all in this together. We've got this. It will get better. Things will get better. And yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely weekend, because this is going to go live on Saturday morning, I think. But for now, peace out, lads, girls, everyone, whoever watched it, and I'll speak to you soon.